again, my little state troops, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, I will be taking you through step by step my tournament yet fluffy city-state of Nuln army for the Empire of Man. And I have to say, I am really excited for today's video because ever since the Arcane Journal came out, I have had my eye on a Nuln army. It really speaks to me as someone who likes spamming a lot of infantry, but also likes to bring a lot of guns. And so, without further ado, let's make ready, take aim, and fire right into this thing. You there, guardsmen! Do you like multi-part plastic sci-fi infantry that doesn't cost a kidney? Well, good news! The Mordian Glory channel is now officially sponsored by Wargames Atlantic. Wargames Atlantic sells fantastic sci-fi models which are perfect as alternative Imperial Guardsmen. This includes the Bulldogs, totally not Praetorians, or the Grognards, which are totally not Mordians, Vestorians, or Kriegers, all in one box. And the best bit is, Wargames Atlantic offers a bulk buy discount, and the more you buy, the bigger the discount. Perfect for amassing those huge platoons of guardsmen. So what are you waiting, you fool? Click on the affiliate link down below, get yourself some great models, and support the channel today. So first things first, it's important to mention that if you want to see this army in action, then I have actually already done a tournament after action report for it. And you can find a link to that video down in the description below. It was a 1-day, 3-round tournament, classic RTT style, and it was a ton of fun, and I have to say the list performed very admirably. So like I said, if you want to see how it did in the face of the enemy, then that video is definitely something you want to check out. But with all my shilling and self-promotion done, now let's get into the army. And as is tradition, I like to start off with a bit of context, some thoughts behind why I came up with this particular list, and then we'll get into the specific units themselves and the nitty-gritty detail. To be honest, the motivation behind this list is very simple. Nuln is cool. That's not an opinion, that's a scientific fact. Ever since I've played Warhammer, be it 40k or fantasy, I've always been a big believer in magic isn't real. Do not trust the witch, do not trust the psyker, put your faith in something more solid and more tangible. So for me, the idea that one of the restrictions of the city-state of Nuln is you're not very good at magic, that's not seen as a downside, that's seen as an absolute win. For me, there is only one law of magic, and that is the law of metal, and it only contains one spell: I cast gun. To quote the great Magnus the Pious, there are 3 things that make the Empire great: faith, steel, and gunpowder, and I put a huge emphasis on the last one of those 3. All right. Enough Empire core. Let's get into this. I have to say, I do love Nuln. I do love the fact that the Empire get guns. I do love the fact that the Empire get the best guns in the game, and that is just a huge motivation for me wanting to play a Nuln army. Now, I will say that I didn't go full Nuln with this army. I am intending on doing that at some point in the future. But for this army, I wanted to go for a more fluffy Nuln army. Now you might be thinking, what do you mean by full Nuln and what do you mean by fluffy Nuln? Well, full Nuln is when you go, how many cannons would you like? And the answer is yes. I do believe, and correct me if I am wrong down in the comment section, but I do believe that it's entirely possible for a Nuln player to now, as per the match play guide, and if a unit's got restrictions, you just use those restrictions, no rule of 3 and all that kind of stuff. As per the match play guide, it's now entirely possible in a 2,000 point Empire army for you to turn up with 6 great cannons and 4 Hellblaster volley guns. That is going full Nuln. Fluffy Nuln, on the other hand, is going for a little bit more of a balance, because Nuln is not only famous for its gunnery school, but it's also somewhat famous for its state troops and its innovations. And these things are represented quite well in the Empire Arcane Journal for Nuln, because they not only get state troops which come with halberds as standard, that's like the famous weapon of the Nulnian state troops, they're halberdiers, but also you have to take some detachments, and you have to take those detachments as handgunners. And that's really cool, because one of the other things that I love about Empire, and kind of wished that it was a little bit more powerful, is the detachment rule. I love the fact that you have this whole pike and shot vibe going on. And last but not least, I absolutely love the Gotrek and Felix books, with Skaven Slayer being one of my favourite. It's probably most people's favourite, to be honest. And there is that fantastic scene in that book with the city-state of Nuln and their steam tanks and what happens when the Skaven try and get their hands on them. So that's why I wanted to include that as well. So rather than just going for a full blown gun army, I've gone for a bit more of a balanced force where we're leaning into the multiple aspects of Nuln: the firepower, the state troops, and the innovations. So with all of that said, and I can feel you guys chomping at the bit to get into the list, let's do exactly that. And let us begin at the top of the chain of command with the characters. This being a Nuln army, it seems only appropriate to start off with the engineer. This is Master Baez, and he is just a standard Empire engineer. He has got no additional upgrades whatsoever. He's just there to look after the guns. Next, we have got our standard bearer. This is Severard. Now, I have given him a slightly different loadout to what I normally go for. Normally, I go for the Sword of Might and the Talisman of Protection, but I wanted to mix things up a little bit this time, so I went for the Pearl Daggers and the Enchanted Shield. Now, I know the Pearl Daggers are two-handed, so he won't be able to use them and also get his ward save, but the idea is when he needs to be defensive, he's got his full plate armor and his shields. He'll be on a 3-up, 6-up, which should hopefully protect him a little bit, and when he needs to go stabby, he can pull out the Pearl Daggers. Now, I really like the Pearl Daggers on an Empire captain, because one of the things that I find with Empire characters, they've got very low volume of attacks. Empire captain's only got 2. It's just like a sergeant he's a jumped up sergeant. He's a jolly jump up. He's a jumped up sergeant in many ways. So giving him the Pearl Daggers means that he gets D3 extra attacks, which can really increase his volume. And they're only 35 points, so they're pretty good. Next, we have got our Empire General, and this is Bremedan Gorst. He comes equipped with the Sword of Battle and the White Cloak, and he's got full plate armor and a shield. So he is on a 3-up, 5-up, and he has got 4 pretty good attacks. Between him getting the extra attacks and the Pearl Daggers, and the fact that now we also have got things like the Duelist Blades, I think you can actually build 3 Empire characters which have got some half decent volume. The last character we've got here is General von Lowenhack. That's not the homebrew name that I've come up with, that's actually the named character. Now, I appreciate this isn't the official General von Lowenhack character. I do have that model and I will be building and painting him up. Quick shout out to community member Willario for sending me that model, absolute hero. But for the time being, this is our stand-in. And he is equipped with Judgment, which is a damage to multiple wounds to hammer. And he's also got his helmet, and he's also got his full plate armor. So he's also on a 4-up, 5-up, and he's got a pretty good weapon as well. Now, the reason for taking these characters is, well, the engineer is pretty self-explanatory. He's going to be looking after the guns, making sure that we don't suffer too many misfires. I think you can get away with just... the minimum should be 1 engineer per 3 guns. If you're being properly safe, you'd go for 2 engineers, but I like to live life dangerously, so also I'm a cheapskate. So we've gone for 1 engineer to look after those 3 guns, which we'll be getting to later on in the video. As for our general, Bremedan Gorst, and our BSB, Severard, these 2 are there to help us hold the line. They're going to go in one of the bricks of state troops, and the idea is they're going to be in the center of the line, projecting out that 12-inch bubble of Leadership 10 for Empire Generals now. That did get improved, and also the BSB doing the rerolls. Now, I went for General von Lowenhack over my usual Empire General, Gisaldon Luther, and I went for him for 2 reasons. 1, he's a Nuln character, so we took him, because that's just cool. And secondly, I was kind of curious to try him out. I've had my eye on him since the Arcane Journal came out, so I was kind of curious to try him out. And thirdly, he does give you additional +1 and -1 to the dice roll to going first. And as an Empire player who likes lots of guns, going first is often really, really nice, because it means that you can get those cannons in early. And 2 cannons, 3 cannons that we've got in this list, that's very nice to be able to hit the enemy hard early on. Now, what's interesting is I tend to find that I actually end up with +2 to going first. 1 from General von Lowenhack, but another one because this army is only about 6 drops. It might look like a lot of units, but it's only about 6 drops between the fact that all the more war machines go down as 1, all the characters go down as 1, the detachments go down at the same time as their parent units. It's actually only about 6 drops, which is kind of mental, and I didn't really think about that when I was originally building the list, but when I put it all together and then worked out how many drops it was, I was like, that's actually a really nice, really nice, powerful yet subtle bonus to running your army in this manner. And it is just worth mentioning, little spoiler alert, but I did get the +2 in every single one of my games in the tournament that I took this list to. But that covers the characters. Now let's get to the best bit, the infantry corps. Because every day in the corps is like a day on the farm. Every meal a banquet, every paycheck a fortune, every formation a parade. I love the corps. In today's infantry corps, we have got 3 big bricks of Nuln Empire State troops. Each one of these has got full command, because mama didn't raise no bitch, and you always go full command, and I'll be damned if I ever play a Warhammer fantasy game without it. Oh, I'm not going to take the musician, it never does anything. Take the musician, you coward, do it. So I've got 3 bricks of Nuln State troops. 2 of them are 29 strong, 1 of them is 28 strong. Now, 1 of them is 28 strong, because that's where the General and the BSB are going to go. And 1 of them is 29 strong because that's where von Lohenhack's going to go. 1 of them is 29 strong because I was a few points short. And yeah, it's just going to vex all those people that have ADHD and need to make sure all the blocks are exactly right. But no, one of the best bits about Old World is its granular point system, and you try and get the bricks to be perfectly square and rectangle and all that kind of stuff. But if in doubt, you can always drop 1 guy to make sure that you can find the points so the rest of the army comes together. Now, every single one of these state troops is equipped with just a halberd. You may see at the back some spearmen, spears and shields there. Those are just there to fill out the ranks. I know, I, the man of a million state troops, do not own enough halberdiers. This is clearly something I am going to have to fix. I have painted up 300 state troops, from halberdiers and spearmen to crossbowmen and handgunners. But, well, actually, I think it's 300 infantry. I've got 60 halberdiers, 60 spearmen, and then I've got 40 handgunners and 40 crossbowmen. So I've painted up 200 state troops, but apparently I still need more. I love playing Empire. Like, I genuinely do. Painting infantry is like my favourite thing in the world. So I've got a few spearmen filling out the ranks at the back, but don't worry, as they are at the back of the units, they're the ones that do die first. I just thought it was important to mention it because I wouldn't want anyone watching this video and thinking, can Nuln bricks take a mixture of halberds and spears? No, they cannot. I'm just a low-down, dirty, proxying piece of shit. But moving on from my inadequacies as a collector and hobbyist, the reason I've gone for units of 30-ish is because over the many months, almost 2 years of playing Empire in Old World, I have found that 30 is a nice size. I've tried units of 20 state troops. They just don't have the weight of numbers. They just get thinned out very quickly. They get shattered in their first combat, or they get badly whittled by range stuff so that they're not very good when they do get to combat. I have tried bricks of 40, and 40 halberds is good. I won't deny it. 40 halberds is good, and 2 bricks of 40 halberds does come to about 500 points, so it does fulfill your core requirements on a normal Empire list, so it's very nice. But it's a little unwieldy. I have had times when my units of 40 halberdiers have struggled to maneuver around some of the boards, especially if there's a building or two in the middle, or you've got a low linear fence or something, or a big forest. I do find that they can struggle a smidge. So 40 is good though. I would say 40 is better than 20, but 30 is in the Goldilocks zone. You can get quite a nice, especially if you're taking multiple bricks. I think if you were taking 1 brick of state troops, I'd take 1 of 40. But if you're taking multiple bricks, then 30 is the sweet spot where you can get the numbers that you need while staying pretty maneuverable. Each one of these units of state troops is a accompanied by a detachment of handgunners. I have gone for 10 handguns in each of my detachments for 2 reasons. Firstly, I think it looks cool. I think 5-man detachments just look a little bit wimpy, you know? Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. Hefty, hefty, hefty. This is hefty. And secondly, I wanted to take advantage of the fact that Nuln state troops can fire in 2 ranks once per game. Now, I'm going to go on a very small minor rant here, but I think that's a bit stupid. I think they should be able to fire in 2 ranks all the time, but just the detachments, not anything else. Because at the end of the day, when you're running an Empire state troop brick, you're probably, the maximum you're going to have is probably 10 handgunners. Realistically, you start taking more than that, like 20 handgunners, and the issue you're going to have is it's very long and it's a very tempting target for something to punch through your line. So I think it just allows units of 10 handgunners to actually function. I have played a few games with this ability to fire in 2 ranks once per game now, and I have to say it doesn't feel very powerful. I'm not wanting it to be super duper powerful OP 360 no scope. I'm not expecting that, but I think if you could allow detachments of 10 handgunners to always fire in 2 ranks, that would be fine. Maybe you could limit it to not on a stand and shoot. It has to be like a more, you know, when they fire but not on a stand and shoot. Maybe there's a nice balance there, so you don't end up with these, you know, people just getting mown down when they try and charge some Empire handgunners, something like that. Sure, but the once per game thing, it just feels very limited. It feels very non-impactful, and so I would change it as a slight buff. I would change it just to make the Nuln handgunners feel that little bit better. Long story short, I think it's a bit silly how they do it once per game and then they forget. I don't think it would be game breaking if you gave Nuln handgunners in a detachment the ability to fire in 2 ranks all the time, except on a stand and shoot. But there we go. As it is, that's the infantry corps. Lots of state troops, a few handguns. I will give you a bit of a spoiler here that the handgunners didn't do a huge amount throughout the entire game, but they were a nice little bit of supplementary firepower. But if I was to do this list in a more cutthroat, more efficient manner, then in a heartbeat, the first thing that would be dropped down is the handgun detachments to units of 5. That's very much a fluffy aspect of this list, going for the 10s. Moving swiftly on, we have got the gunnery school of Nuln, and we have gone for the classic double cannon and single Hellblaster volley gun, colloquially known as Boomtown. I'm not going to lie to you, Boomtown is a bit of a crutch. I've played Empire a lot. I've tried taking less. I've tried taking just 2 cannons. I've tried taking 1 cannon and a Hellblaster volley gun. I've tried taking 1 cannon, 1 mortar, 1 Hellblaster. And the reality is that if you take anything less than 2 cannons and a Hellblaster, you are just massively weakening yourself as an Empire player. It is basically mandatory. You have very few other reliable ways of dealing with big monsters, and even in a post 1.5 FAQ world, you still need the ability to deal with dragons and griffins and all sorts of other mad stuff. So it's mandatory, and whether I was running Nuln or not, I would be taking this as a minimum. And if you're a new Empire player, and you're watching this, go and get yourself 2 cannons and a Hellblaster volley gun. Don't even think about it. Don't even question it. Don't even worry about it. Just go and do that. Because I guarantee you, if you try and run Empire lists without it, you're going to have a bad time. It's not super duper OP broken. It's just, this is the nice middle ground. This is what Empire players have to bring so that they can actually play the game. And some people complain about Empire firepower, but trust me, this is the nice way of doing it. It's still powerful, and it's still going to be yeeting cannonballs into people, and it's still going to be doing a lot of great work. Don't get me wrong, but 2 Empire cannons and a Hellblaster volley gun, that's when you know an Empire player has brought a nice amount of guns that he can compete, but not so many guns that he's going to make you go home questioning why you even play this game. Last but not least, we have got the cast iron bitch. It's the steam tank, the stank. And this is also another crutch. I'm going to be honest, this is also a bit of another crutch with for Empire armies. I have tried running Empire armies without a steam tank. More often than not, when you do that, you lose games. It's that simple. If I go to a tournament and I've got a steam tank and Boomtown, then I tend to go 2-1, but I don't ever really win. If I don't take the steam tank or I don't take Boomtown, I'm going 1-2, if not worse. The steam tank is a really cool unit, don't get me wrong, and even if it wasn't that good, I'd probably still take it, but it is a bit of a crutch. Now you might be saying, why is it a bit of a crutch? Because it's just unbreakable and it's very tough. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, although I have to say, ever since they FAQ'd it so it could shoot grape shot, it's been doing a lot more. But it doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it's a problem solver. Oh, what am I going to do about that really scary enemy unit that's loaded up with all sorts of characters? None of my state troops will be able to go toe-to-toe with that. Just shoot a steam tank into it. There's a very strong chance the steam tank will probably die, but there's a real possibility that it's going to take a while for the enemy to chew through that steam tank, at which point, hopefully, you've tied that big bad up long enough that the rest of your army has been able to do its job. Also, the steam tank's quite a nice point sink. It's 265 points, which means if your opponent doesn't kill it, then it kind of protects a huge amount of points in your army, like 10% of your points, if not a bit more than 10%. And so I sometimes like to use steam tank as a problem solver, just a roadblock. But I'm also partial to the bullying stank, the flanky stank. Put it on a flank against a bunch of enemies that really have no way of dealing with it, and sure, it might not get its points back, it might only kill like 100 or 150 points with the enemy units, but it doesn't give up any of its own, so that ends up being kind of like a 400 point swing, because it's protected about 265 of your points whilst taking about 100 to 150 away from the enemy. One of the best bits about the steam tank is also the fact that it's just mobile firepower. I said before that the grape shot is so good now, and I tend to find that my steam tank pairs very nicely with a brick of state troops. And the idea is that the steam tank softens them up, charges in, does the impact hits, holds the enemy in place for a turn, and then the next turn you send your halberds in. And that the enemy's pinned in place, you've got steam tank who's doing its impact hits, and then you've got your halberds which are getting their bonuses on the charge, and that tends to be a very nice 1-2 punch combo in this list. But you know what? That just about covers everything. So we've got state troops, we've got guns, we've got tanks, and we have got a lot of fun as well. And I have to say, post-tournament analysis of this list, I really enjoyed running it. It was a ton of fun. It felt powerful yet fluffy. It did not feel overpowered in any way, shape or form. It felt like an Empire army. It felt like an Empire army through and through. And I did not miss magic in any way, shape or form. And I enjoyed having lots of state troops marching around the battlefield and shooting people in the face. But of course, that's just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think about this list and what would you change about it? If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members, and Patreons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last, but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, RJ, Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock the Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.